In this short video tutorial, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to set up the kitchen and electrical on your Robson XTT. I'll also show you how to pack it all down, ready to hit the road. All the electrical controls, bar the main circuit breakers which are located near the batteries underneath the seat inside the camper, are right here. We have our main switch. So this is the main switch to turn on all the 12-volt circuits to your camper. Along the bottom here, we have the individual switches for the various circuits. We've got the hot water system, the fridge, which is to the fridge slide in the front box. So switch that on to activate power to those, which you'll need if you're going to run the fridge while you're traveling. Also, water pumps and water gauge is this switch here. So for these water gauges to work and the water pump to work, this one needs to be on, plus we have a spare one. Our indicators here are the amp gauge. That will tell you how much amperage that the system is drawing while it's switched on. And here is the voltage, which will tell you what condition your batteries are in. And just to the right, we have the resettable circuit breakers. So if you happen to trip a circuit, this is where you come to first, and they're a push reset. So you just push them back in and that'll reset the circuit. And just below here, what we have is a reference guide as to what condition your batteries are in when you look at their voltage. And the number to look at here is 12.05 volts. Never allow your batteries to fall below that level because you'll damage them and reduce their lifespan. Also keep in mind that your Robson XTT has a DC to DC charger and a 7-stage charger. While your camper is sitting around doing nothing, even with this switched off, there is a back draw from those two items. So you must regularly charge the batteries while it's in storage, at the very least every month. When you want to pack up, if you're running a fridge, leave this switched on, your main switch on, leave your fridge circuit on, and away you go. You'll travel, you'll have power to your fridge, and you can charge from the car while you've got the Anderson plugs set up. As your Robson comes with a 120 watt solar panel mounted on the boat rack, you need to use a patch lead which comes with your camper to connect up the solar. The fitting at the top is just up here behind the boat rack. So you plug the Anderson plug in there, and just down beside the base of the boat rack is another fitting for this one to fit in. Now keep in mind, it's a 120 watt solar panel, so it will turn a 2-day weekend off-grid into 3 days of power, possibly 4, depending on conditions. But it is not designed for a long-term off-grid power source. If you want to stay off-grid longer, you will need more solar power. I would recommend a minimum of 240 watts. Now I'll show you where this one plugs in. Simply plug the other one at the bottom here and just push it in firmly. Now that the patch lead is in place, we can put the boat rack up and use this pole to lift up the solar panel into its flat position while the boat rack's up, as per the setup video. Now, if you're storing your camper and you don't have a 240 volt power source to keep it plugged in, top up the batteries, etc., you can actually leave this patch lead in and the solar panel will do its job, providing you haven't got a cover over the top of the solar panel. When you're driving though, your trailer must receive a charge from your tow vehicle. That is part of the regulations for the breakaway system. You must constantly maintain the main battery charge, which operates the breakaway system if your trailer becomes detached from the vehicle. So what you need to do while you're traveling is take this patch lead off. While the solar is connected on this trailer, it will override the power from the vehicle, which you don't want. So remove this, your vehicle will supply a lot more power and you'll be within the guidelines required for towing a trailer with a breakaway. If you've got site power where you're setting up, this is the place to connect it up. It's a 15 amp connection, so you'll need a 15 amp power lead to connect to this. It has a much bigger earth pin and it's the only lead that will fit onto this connection. Caravan parks will have 15 amp outlets, so it won't be a problem. If you're connecting up to house power or a 10 amp supply, what you'll need is a conversion box which will take you from 15 amps down to a 10 amp plug so you can fit into a regular household power point. Something like the Amphibian from Bunnings is perfect for it. make sure you've got one of them if you're connecting to 10 amp power. To set up the kitchen on your XTT, you'll need this. It's a kitchen support leg and it'll be stored in the front box of the camper when you pick it up. On the back of the camper, straight at the back here, is a gas fitting. It's a bayonet style. That's where we need to connect up the gas. The hot and cold water is permanently plumbed in this kitchen, so you don't need to connect those up. So open our cabinet door, and our kitchen has two locking mechanisms. One is the slide itself. It has a little lock on it with a blue tab, so when you want to pull it out, you press that down. It also has a pad bolt lock. This is your main securing mechanism. It's very, very strong, and it'll stop that kitchen from trying to move around and bang on the door to try and get out. The current position here is the locked down position. If you turn this 90 degrees so the black knob is sitting out, you can raise it up all the way, then turn it back. Now that pad bolt will sit up on these two dowels here, out of the way so it won't knock coming out, and it'll release the kitchen. When you're putting it away, make sure that's up. Make sure no one has fiddled around with it and lowered it down. Otherwise it'll strike the bottom here when you put the kitchen away. Now we can push our blue tab down and grab the main handle here that's connected to the kitchen body. Don't grab this one down here, grab the main one and slide the kitchen out. Bring it out all the way, and now we can grab our kitchen leg, and underneath here is a relief hole for this leg to fit in. So we pop that in there, lower the leg down. What you need to do is give the kitchen a slight lift, then lock the leg off. That'll make sure the weight of the kitchen is on that leg and not the slides. Now we can put out our fold out tray. Undo the little securing bungee cord at the front, take that off, and we can open it up. On it are two support legs, one either side. The one furthest the outside of the kitchen has a little dowel on it. So as we fold that over, that slots into a hole on the back of the kitchen to make sure it can't move and collapse. Pop that in there. Now I can get the gas hose out, pass that around and connect it up to the fitting at the back. To do that, we open our doors. Each door has a little tab here to lock it in place while you're traveling so it can't accidentally open, because if it does that while you're traveling, you won't get your kitchen out when you stop. The gas hose is stored in here. Also, we have our kitchen igniter power. That plugs in at the back here into the 12-volt sockets, and you also have a drain hose for the sink, which you run out into a bucket to store the water. So we've run our drain hose out, and we've also plugged in our igniter ignition cord into this socket here. Now we just connect up the gas bayonet. There's a little black dust cap. We remove that, it's on a little chain, and we plug in the bayonet. Now there's a slotted fitting, so it'll only go in the right way. We push it in, turn it to the right, and that's locked in. Now whatever you do, turn the gas on before you connect this up. If there's gas pressure to the back of that bayonet fitting, it makes it all that much harder to plug it in when you do it. When packing down our kitchen on the Robson, the first thing you want to do is turn off the gas at the bottle, then release the pressure through the kitchen. So through the cooktop, let the gas pressure go. That'll make it a lot easier to get this bayonet fitting out. To get the fitting out, push it in, turn it to the left, pull it out, and we can return our little black dust cap in place there. Remember, disconnect the power. Now we can retrieve our power cable, our gas hose, and our drain hose back up through the underneath of the kitchen, store it in the cabinet, and then continue packing up. So I've now retracted all the hoses up through the bottom of the kitchen. They're neatly in this cupboard here. Can close the door up and turn our little tab across so there's no way that can open up. Closed up our fold out bench and return the bungee to its position like that. Now that can't rattle down. Next step, remove the leg, Then push our blue tab down and push the kitchen away. Give it a nudge, make sure it's locked in, and return our pad bolt into the lock position. Close it up, put our leg away, and that's the kitchen packed up, ready to roll. So there you have it, folks. That's how you pack up the kitchen and electrical on your Robson XTT. Some things to remember: when you're towing, remove the patch lead for the solar so it doesn't interfere with your car's ability to charge the batteries while you're driving. That has to do with regulations for the breakaway battery. When you're packing up the kitchen, always retract all the hoses, get them up inside the kitchen before you slide it away, otherwise you'll damage them. And when you're storing your trailer, maintenance charge is critical. Remember, the electricals in there will have a back drawer, so you must charge it at least monthly, or leave the solar panel connected all the time and don't cover the solar panel up so it's always getting sun. But again, the 7-stage charger is the best means to condition and charge your batteries. So if you can leave it connected to 240 volt, please do so.